Hi everybody. Have you ever had a situation where your boss is actually making you work longer hours than you agreed to in your job description? And sometimes without any extra pay? If so, listen up. And by the way, if you know anybody who has this going on in their life, maybe a friend or a relative, you may want to share this with them. Hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal talking about love, life and other problems. And I got a call this week from a friend, and it was about the fact that the boss that they worked for, by the way, they got a really great job, and everything was going well, but suddenly what was happening was that they were being asked to work more and more hours. And it wasn't just that it was more than 8 hours a day. Now suddenly it was 8 days straight. And so when I heard this, I was on the telephone and I rolled my eyes and went, really? And understand this is my opinion, but if you ask me for it, I will give it to you, which this person did. Here is my opinion about this. The person who needs to wake up is the person this is happening to. Because if you allow this to happen to you, you are the victim. You have become a victim to somebody else's bad management. Now, the one thing I was aware of, and I spoke to it, and I said, you know, what is your fear? That if you actually stand up and have a chat about this, that you could lose your job? Well, yes. And I said, well, let me tell you something else. If you don't stand up and talk about this, then you will burn out and you won't have a job anyway. So one way or the other, this has to be addressed. And what I suggested that she did was to actually have a chat with the boss and say, hey, I've really just need to warn you that I'm beginning to burn out and I can't continue to do 8-day weeks or 8 days straight without a break. I can't continue to do that. In the interest of teamwork, I've done it, but now I can't continue to do that. I'm going to burn out, and that doesn't help anybody. And I said, be aware that the answer could come back, because I've noticed that this sort of answer does come back sometimes. The answer can come back, well, I have to use you because you're the only one capable of managing that responsibility. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. You know, to make you feel good. And I said, if you get that coming back at you, or anything that sounds like that, then your answer needs to be, it sounds like we've got a staffing problem. Would you like me to help set up some interviews so we can get another responsible person on board? In other words, no way. No way is this going to continue. We have to make another plan. And they can try and manipulate you 5 ways from Sunday. And they will, if they can get away with it. All too often I've heard it said from all sorts of people. Well, I worked them that hard because they never complained. I presume they were okay with it. Really? Or, well, it was required in order to do the job. No, it's not required to do the job. You didn't sign up to work 8 days straight. Maybe it happens occasionally and you're okay with that. But if it's happened more than once in a row, for example, it happens once a year, then maybe you do it out of the goodness of your heart. But if this is happening on a fairly regular basis, this is bad management. And I'm really sorry if it messes up with their brain. I'm really sorry, but you need to turn the mirror and let them see this is bad management. But as a very good friend of mine said to me, her father always used to remind her, be fair, firm, and friendly. So therefore, keep it light and go, listen, I know I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks, but that's enough now. You know, let's move on to better management of this. We need to make a change. Because I'm going to burn out like this, and I don't want that. I enjoy you and the job way too much. So you understand, be firm, fair, and friendly. Now, if you end up losing your job because you're not prepared to work 8 days straight on a regular basis, that's not a bad thing. Now, you can say, but Sal, I need the money and I need this, that, and the other. Yeah, but you know, getting paid so that people can abuse you is not a good thing. That makes you a victim. If the only way you can keep a job is to work non-stop and probably without overtime, then somebody is abusing you. I know of one company that I know of where they got their staff to work extra hours all the time. They were doing it all the time. And the staff did it. And then one day somebody said, why are we doing all this overtime and not getting paid for it? And so they took that up with management and said, hey, you know, something wrong here. And the idea was, well, you should be grateful to have the job. Well, I must admit that that particular person left pretty soon after that. And I, for one, said, good for you. Well done. Because you're right. If it is a once-off, every now and then type thing, it happens. But if it's a consistent situation, it's not. All right, everybody. We all have this sort of thing happen to us. We all have people abuse us, if you like, in some sort of way. Whether it's through bad behavior, whether it's invading our privacy, whether it's all sorts of things, we have it happen all the time. And part of getting older and maturing is that you learn this later on. My goal is to hope to be able to give you enough stories like this that you'll start to realize, wait a minute, how come I didn't know that? This is DearMamaSal saying, keep smiling and keep sending the questions, because that helps so many people. This is DearMamaSal saying, bye-bye for now.